Good morning, everyone, and welcome to OOGA's winter meeting. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Luck of the Irish. Let's see where oil prices go today. My name is Celeste Miracle, and I am the Vice President of Government Relations at PDC Energy. For those of you who don't know PDC Energy, we are a oil and gas driller. We have properties in Ohio and in Colorado. We originally were founded and headquartered in West Virginia. I'm a West Virginia girl, so I always love coming back here and being close to the Ohio-West Virginia border, where my dad was a coal miner for many years. And PDC is now headquartered in Denver. This morning, I will be serving as the moderator for the business session, and it is now my honor to introduce our first speaker. And our first speaker really doesn't need an introduction, I don't think. Our first speaker this morning is Sean Bennett. Sean Bennett serves as the Executive Vice President for the Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Having been elected to the position in December 2014, Sean is the Chief Executive Officer of the association and its operations, editor of the association's publications, and industry spokesperson to the media outlets and other forums. I had the privilege to work with Sean a couple weeks ago in DC as we walked around and talked to the Ohio House members and senators. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Sean Bennett.
Oh, thank you, Celeste. When we were walking around D.C., I decided to buy new shoes the day before, and my God, never do that. Because D.C. is not a walking-friendly city. Because I think I put in at least 14 to 16,000 steps that day. Welcome, everyone, to the 69th winter meeting. Again, this is a great event. I stepped outside, and I was amazed when I had to run out to my car that there are already people drinking over at Easton, and I could hear the frivolity taking place. So for those of you who came here instead of heading over to Fido's, thank you very much. And a lot of people think of March 17th as St. Patrick's Day. However, March 17th holds a more significant role in the oil and gas industry than just it being a holiday for the Irish. If you think back to 1949, March 17th is actually the first commercial application of hydraulic fracturing in the oil field. Again, this happened about 12 miles east of Duncan, Oklahoma, and since that time, hydraulic fracturing has done more to open up recoverable reserves in the United States and in the world than any other technique in our field. This is something that we celebrate, and I think, again, as I watch the politics play out, the presidential election, what's very interesting is that you see people who don't understand our industry, obviously don't understand hydraulic fracturing. You see that more or less, not from the Republican side, but from the Democrat side, and I think that's why this election is even more important. What you've had is the front runner, Hillary Clinton saying, by the time that she is done putting new regulations on this industry, there won't be many places in the United States where we'll be able to do fracking. Bernie Sanders was not as eloquent. He just said, no, I don't like fracking. But in a much more grumpier voice. So again, when we look at this, and these are the two frontrunners from the Democratic ticket, we also have to think about the new rules that were put into place, or I guess I should say announced, late last week by the Obama administration, and that is regulating methane from existing sources. Historically, or I guess I should say over the past 8 years, they have focused on new sources as far as regulating methane emissions. And now, instead of focusing on new sources where we can budget in those costs, they want to go after existing sources so they can essentially continue on this keep it in the ground movement that those opposed to our industry have really latched onto. And again, when a well is not economical, you shut it in and you plug it. And if you can't make the necessary upgrades to that well and you're not able to meet those methane emission standards, you are going to leave a lot of that oil and natural gas in the ground. And that's the last thing this country or any of us need. We have a great program here today and tomorrow. We have a gentleman named Mark Mathis talking about a new documentary called Fractured. And this is about how to properly communicate about the oil and gas industry and energy. And that's what's very important. Again, that is really the theme over the past several years in our industry. We always put our heads down and we go to work and we feel that people should understand our industry or at least trust us when we do our jobs. However, we know that there's a lot of money to be made to oppose our industry, and there's a lot of folks that are in opposition to us. Yoko Ono, Who would have thought anybody would listen to her? But evidently, she has a following. Her son and Mark Ruffalo and a lot of these Hollywood types are opposed to our industry. So we have to figure out what our conversation is moving forward and make sure that we are able to teach, educate, and really promote our industry in the way it needs to be done. We also have a program, Intervest is coming in to discuss the horizontal Clinton in the East Canton field that they're operating here right now, which I think is a very good program and gives conventional operators a look into how to move into this new space here in the future when oil and natural gas prices come back, as opposed to the conventional vertical wells. We have a pipeline update, and again, anybody who is selling natural gas right now knows that we need more pipelines to get this gas out of this basin so we can get a better price and start defeating this negative basis that a lot of folks are suffering from. Also, we have EIA providing an update. I reached out to my friend at the EIA. I said, will you come and promise to have good news? He promised to come. Let's hope he has good news. But he's going to give an update on pricing, an update on production, and also give a midstream update and where they see oil and gas prices moving to and how we're going to move it out of this basin as well. We also have actually Marty Shumway giving a production update, the DeBrose report, which is always a great report that has been given every year for as long as I've been attending the event. And I think, what annual DeBrose report are we on? Okay. It's been decades, and it's, again, one of those reports that everybody's really anxious to see. And then following within the political theme, our keynote speaker this year is David Wasserman. I had a chance to see David down at an IPAA event here several months ago, and he's the House editor for the Cook Political Report, and he is going to essentially try to sum up the presidential election. I don't know if anyone can sum up the presidential election at this point because, again, there's a Showtime show called The Circus, and it really sums up what's going on in presidential politics here today. But he is going to hopefully give us some hope. Hopefully give us hope that, a Republican will win and get back into office, or at least tell us how this whole election is going to shape up. So with that, thank you all for coming, and I look forward to talking with each and every one of you here this week.